time. So, and just keep it on me. So, hi everyone. My name is Dwayne. I'm going to be doing a speech on needlestick and sharps related injuries in the OR. So, right here I have the presentation available. Well, the title of the presentation, and here's my references that I'm going to be referring to kind of throughout the speech as well. I got a lot of my data and statistics just based off of this hospital to begin with, and it just kept it within the OR. It's for all the other departments and stuff as well, and but I just kept it within the OR to keep it kind of simplified. So first off, we could talk about methods and techniques, and this is to be considered to help reduce, if not completely negate, needlestick and sharps related injuries in the OR. And this probably, primarily because of the statistics, relates to the scrub techs and the student scrub techs. Nurses, not so much. They were in other departments that had a lot of needlestick injuries and sharps injuries, but this primarily is for the scrub techs and the scrub tech students. So if we're going to talk about that, if we're going to talk about the data and the statistics, last year in 2016, this hospital had 4 scrub techs with sharps related injuries and 3 scrub tech students with sharps related injuries, and this was just documented. There could be cases where it was also undocumented. This year, there's been 4 students that have been poked or had a sharps related injury documented, and then also 4 scrub techs that work at the hospital that have had sharps related injuries. So if you think about it, Hagstrom, in her data and in one of the ARN journals, she found out that within the years 2002 to 2008, there was anywhere between 340,000 to 500,000 needle sticks or sharps related injuries in hospitals. And if you think about it, that's a lot of people. So if you want to really think about it, methods and techniques to consider, double gloving, I'm sure you guys hear about that all the time, it works sometimes, maybe. It hasn't been actually identified according to, I believe it was Vad Gamma in one of her research articles, but it's kind of inconclusive whether it works or not. Also, communication is really huge between the scrub tech, the nurse, or the scrub tech student and the other scrub tech, as well as the physician. And communication is a two-way street. You have to get feedback from them as well. And I know sometimes in the OR, it's kind of hard to, speak to a doctor or, have them communicate with you because, they're empowered. So anyways, communication is huge, and that's one of the biggest problems that they found out is the problem with needlestick and needlestick related injuries. So, telling you, sharps coming across or sharps down, sharps over here, this, that, or the other. And, we can go into impact and or implications and the boundaries we face when we try to talk about sharps related injuries, and the boundaries being one is like I had mentioned, the empowerment of the physicians. We kind of consider like the implications of, telling on them or something, or saying, so-and-so physician poked me. It was, his fault, and then they never want to be at fault because, they're the doctor. Anyway, so it's like we face, oppression through retaliation in that sort of like implication. So, and then also the support from administrators within the OR. You want to say, physician so-and-so poked me, and then you go and tell your charge nurse or your supervisor, your manager, or whomever, and then, saying, so-and-so's not following policy and procedure. I was doing this, and this is what happened. And so you kind of want to do that. And then also the management, the support, they don't really want to help out either. They don't want to implicate the doctor for fear of retaliation or implication as well, because the doctors bring the hospital money. So those are kind of some boundaries we face with changing policies and procedures when it comes to needle stick injuries and sharp related injuries. And then if you want to talk about impact and the implications, like if somebody's got an HBV, which is the hepatitis B virus, or A or C, or HIV, the bloodborne pathogens. It's huge. If it goes undocumented, which I'm sure almost everybody's seen one of the doctors get poked, and it probably went undocumented. There was only one doctor that reported a needle stick within 2 years, a needle stick or a sharp-related injury. And if you think about it, if that patient had something and he got it, and he contracted it, and then he's got it, it's undocumented, he sticks himself again, continues to work, or it doesn't change, or something, doesn't happen, or whatever happens, that patient now becomes implicated because of that. It's undocumented, hasn't been treated. And there's also in the policies and procedures within this hospital that address the post-procedural or post-sharps related injuries. So you go and you see the infection control and all that. But the impact is huge. So like if you happen to poke yourself and you don't document it and you don't say anything about it, and that patient possibly has something and you don't say anything, you're with your significant other, spouse, whomever, you have a child.
Do you have a protocol for that?
Yeah.
We do.
It's right here.
Yeah.
I have the papers right
All
here if you would like to
the
see them.
The little sticks here, go to there.
Sometimes. So the impact is huge though, because if you contract a bloodborne pathogen, you can transfer it to somebody else. And if you don't say anything, you can't get properly treated for it. You can't get the prophylaxis that they give you for, like broad spectrum HBV, Hep A, Hep C, HIV prophylaxis to hopefully prevent it. And it's expensive, so it's definitely a huge deal, and it really does impact, and it should be talked about more, and it should be practiced a little bit better, avoiding needle stick and sharp related injuries. And that's the end of my speech.
Oh. What did you rank there?
Very good.
Don't get